The September 2020 Forbidden List was, wow. It was literally what we as players have expected. We got cards off of the Forbidden List that was a huge boost to certain strategies, and certain cards went on the Forbidden List. Probably cards that you may have hoped. In this video, we are going to be going over the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Post the September 2020 Forbidden List. It's an exciting roller coaster ride, and while some of these strategies may get bumped out of the Forbidden List later on down the line, currently, they're the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! So before I jump right on into the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh!, I think it is appropriate to address the meta. Some of the decks that get hit hardest definitely has to go to Adamantipator. I know my boy Meshach is crying because he just started to play this deck, and it was really excited to see him develop as a player. Adamantipator lost Block Dragon and Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion to the Forbidden List. Will they be able to recover and get back to the tier status? Currently, I don't have them the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! Infernoble Knight loses Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion. This is huge to them as they needed Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion to be special summoned off of Auroradon to make Borreload Savage Dragon. Will Infernoble Knight be able to keep those insane combos with not losing consistency? And last is the Eldritch strategy, a strategy that has ironically been falling off. I remember a couple of months ago, people were begging for an Eldritch hit, but a little bit before the Forbidden List, Eldritch was already starting to diminish in tops. Biggest reason is because while the game is still in a battle of attrition, sometimes strategies just fade off because they're not as powerful as players think they are. Eldritch was a victim of circumstance, still a really powerful deck. Eldritch not only loses the Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion, but it also loses Jet Synchron. Will this deck be able to keep up? Well, let's find out in the top decks of the Yu-Gi-Oh! The first strategy, I actually didn't even want to put it in the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! But it proved time after time again. It is a deck that, just like Eldritch, can win in that battle of attrition and is almost immune to hand traps if you play the deck correctly. Burning Abyss is an amazing strategy that got a huge boost off of the Forbidden List. With Seer, Traveler, Prowlbrink of the Burning Abyss, because they're not Travelers, and Graph off the Forbidden List or semi-limited on the Forbidden List, Burning Abyss got a huge boost to consistency. Tour Guide from the Underworld also bumping off of semi-limited to unlimited gives Burning Abyss more opportunities with their starter card. Some people will argue that Burning Abyss is susceptible to hand traps, and that's almost true. While Burning Abyss can be hit like hand traps like any other deck in Yu-Gi-Oh!, Burning Abyss plays a little bit differently. Imagine drawing Triple T against a Burning Abyss player, so ready and anxious to use it to rip a card out of their hand or take control of a monster, until you realize you Ash Blossom their tour guide and you have to deal with 4 traps. Burning Abyss is a deck that will literally float its way into advantage. Sometimes not so great hands end up with game-ending boards, and the longer that this deck is allowed to survive, and ironically in a format where we have cards like Boral Sword Dragon and Access Code Talker, Burning Abyss does fairly well on being able to handle those certain cards. If you guys want to see a competitive Burning Abyss deck profile, well, I just so happen to have posted one on my channel. Go ahead and check out that annotation. It is the sauce. I'm telling you, Burning Abyss are too strong. You guys should already know what I'm gonna say second, because I couldn't put it as the cover card. I mean, what's the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, guys?
Hero.
Well, so they're blind and deaf. They don't understand what the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh is. So contrary to what they are saying, Dino is easily the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, but seriously, Dino is a really powerful deck that has earned its status in the tier 1 category. Now, Dino typically is meta dependent, mainly because there are certain cards that are really harmful for Dino, but once those cards get rotated out, Dino becomes extremely good. Say for example, how players are starting to play Infinite Impermanence, Effect Veiler, and Psyframe Gear Gamma. 2 of the cards target and 1 of them require you to have no monsters on your side of the field. Well, Lost World not only gives your opponent a token, taking away the ability for them to Psyframe Gear Gamma you, while they control that token they cannot target, meaning that cards like Effect Veiler and Infinite Impermanence can't negate your dinosaur monsters. Dinosaurs can be very simplistic, summoning monsters like Evil Sword Dolka to the side of the field, which is a rank 4 double negation, to Ultimate Conductor Tyranno being able to clear a complete board without activating its effect. It has inherent disruption to break my board type of decks, as well as being almost immune to hand traps due to Lost Lost World and Miscellaneous Saris, Dinos is definitely a deck you should consider if you wanted to play in this Yu-Gi-Oh card game. So this zombie strategy has came back from the dead with the help of a new set or new strategy from the Rise of the Duelist set. Eldritch is the deck that just won't die. Get it? Because they're zombies, so they won't die, and yeah.
Looking for new people to play. I'm not playing with these guys. I'm not dealing with these anymore.
Dogmatica Eldritch already took the reins as the best Eldritch version, dominating the top tables before Synchro was even phased out. Dogmatica Eldritch, similar to Burning Abyss, plays a slow grind-based game, but this particular variant does punish the opponent for pretty much playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Doggoeld has a very consistent flow, playing as one of the better trap-based decks, being able to stymie your opponent with Conquistador or your how did Justin say it?
Hello?
Yo, Justin.
What's up?
Yo, is it Wakero or Hakero?
Oh my god, for the Eldritch card?
Yeah.
It's Wakero.
It's Wakero.
Wakero.
Okay, and Sanguine, right?
Sanguine, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm sorry. Damn. Wakero. God damn it. Those two cards allow you to destroy your opponent's face-up cards non-discriminatably or be able to banish your opponent's cards in the graveyard, which is really good in this particular format, as well as use your Dogmatica Trap card, which this card's just busted. It lets you send cards from your deck and do stuff and destroy. Card's just busted. Doggoeld is one of the better decks in Yu-Gi-Oh, but it doesn't stop there. As a bonus, still in the same category, Dogmatica Invoked is still one of the better decks. This deck is similar to Eldritch, except it does summon Invoked Mechaba to prevent your opponent from stopping you, and also has that potential to swing for huge amounts of damage with Invoke paired to Trio. The Invoke Dogmatica strategy plays a ton of hand traps, a ton of spell cards, and a ton of money is thrown at this deck in order for it to compete, but it actually does it well. They say that money can't solve problems, but if you played Invoke Dogmatica, then you probably would have most of your Yu-Gi-Oh problems solved. Or, if you played Eldritch Invoked Dogmatica, oh man, that deck's gotta be like in the thousands, right? Oh boy. Now, some of you guys just may have had a heart attack speaking on a deck that may make you refinance your house just to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's go to a cheaper deck that can be competitive. Rocket Dragon Link is one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! You heard it from me, you'll hear it again. Rocket Dragon Link is one of the best decks in Yu-Gi-Oh! There's almost no choke points for this deck to be hand-trapped, because just when you think that the deck is hand-trapped, it does more things. Trust me, I know from trial and error. I've been playing Meshach for like 2 days straight, and I've hand-trapped every choke point, and he normally has an answer. You need multiple hand traps just to stop him. Rocket Dragon Link is literally in the perfect storm, in a meta where hand traps like Nibiru and even going second cards like Dark Ruler No More aren't necessarily as played as much. Rocket Dragon Link can thrive in a meta where Infinite Impermanence and Effect Veiler don't necessarily get rid of the target. Psyframe Gear is an amazing card, but that's your only disruption out. They still have other ways to place multiple monsters on the field. It was already bad enough that Rocket Dragon Link was playing through Nibiru. Imagine not having Nibiru and Rocket Dragon Link playing. This will probably dictate that everybody side at least 3 copies of Nibiru. And the last strategy I want to talk to you about is, boy, this deck is better. It did get hit by the Forbidden List, but it is so strong. The Infernoble Knight strategy is another combo-based deck that Meshach wants to get his hands on, but I might have to keep him away from this one because it's too much sauce. Seriously, no pun intended, but this deck is straight fire. Imagine setting up 3 meager negates with your Infernoble Knight Charles, a Borreload Savage Dragon, and of course, your card of choice, whether it is a Phoenix Gearfried, sometimes a Herald of Arclight if players still play that, but also being able to look at your opponent's hand and choose a card to be able to discard from their hand. So it's almost like having multiple disruptions because you can look through your opponent's hand and decide what you want to be disrupted by, and then continue to play Yu-Gi-Oh! These Flame Warrior monsters are similar to Rocket. They're extremely hard to hand trap because just when you thought you found one choke point, the deck does things and then it finds another way to make the combo that it's trying to do. And just before you can Nibiru it, it normally sets up with some form of negation, like the Gearfried card, because The Infernoble strategy was thought to be dead because O-Lion is banned, so what monster would you summon with Auroradon, mean why play Auroradon? Well, Mecha Phantom Beast Cold Wing just so happens to be off the list, and with abusing a new card in Power Tool Dragon, Infernoble Knights find its way to stay on top of the meta. Well, that is it for the top 5 best decks in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game right now. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, I want you to post down below in the comment section which strategies do you think deserve to be on this list. There are some strategies that I'm going to be talking about on Patreon that I feel are really good, but unfortunately you can't make a top 5 being a 6, right? As always, be sure to check out these videos if you want to see more TheCaliEffect content. Like this video up and we'll do an underrated video, some decks that are extremely strong, and of course I'll catch you on the next one.